Hey everybody, before the episode gets started today, want to let you know that after the recording we noticed that my mic was weird. So we fixed it, but you're going to have to just chill with me being a little different this week. Enjoy the show.
Hey Nick,
Hey Chase,
it's that time again.
what time is it?
Time for
Fuck this place!
Yes, that's sometimes Craigslist can be,
Like I was just kind of whatever about it. I was like, hey, Tim, do you want to take a look at it? I just sent him the link. I was like, what do you think of this? This is like they're looking for a drummer. And he was like, oh my God, this is like a paid gig. And he was like, whatever the details meant to him, whatever the jargon meant, he was like, this is like a really good gig. And he was like, I'm going to apply for it.
and this
like,
is you
cool.
too. You too is looking for a drummer.
I was like, yeah, whatever, me too. I don't care. But like, yeah, whatever, whoever you want to.
I really don't talk to me anymore. I gave you this. Just stop. Please just stop talking.
Can you just load those coconut creams into that truck, please? That's all I need to do.
Well, this is really great. I'm in Sum 41.
yeah. Well, can you get some work done? Because I need.
Welcome to Fuck This Place, podcast about jobs with Chase and Nick. My name is Chase.
My name is Nick, and that's all. That's it.
That's it.
We got another boys episode.
Another boys with their toys.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks of us with the ladies, but you know what?
Talking to people.
Just talking
out loud.
Some good guests.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what we said? We're going back to just the boys.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I would say back to the
just hanging
basics,
out.
but I don't really know what the basics are. The basics would be us in my apartment that I don't have anymore. Pre-pandemic, maybe. I couldn't tell you.
Oh yeah, talking into big like foamy microphones.
Big foamy mics. I'm using one right now.
Just one.
The other ones are in trouble. They've been sequestered away for years at this point. So here we are. We got some posts. We got some people asking questions on Reddit.
Oh man, we got some posts and the troubles of Reddit, the perils of Reddit.
Oh, I do like the troubles of Reddit.
The troubles of Reddit. Maybe a new name.
Maybe that's the name.
I do like the name. Chase has been on Reddit too long because I like pulling back the curtain a little bit and figuring out how we got this.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sometimes, sometimes I'm on for too long. But I feel like, aren't we all on the internet for a little too long? Whatever the amount of time it is.
Dude, the other day I went outside, but not for work. I went outside just genuinely to go outside.
Absolutely, love it.
And it fucking ruled.
It's the
I
best.
was like, what the fuck? Like I go outside to run. I run outside my neighborhood, but it feels like it's like I'm on a mission when I'm doing that. Like
you're a part of the hustle.
Yeah. I have my earphones in. I'm just running. I'm trying to get like, okay,
you're in your fucking thing. That's
I
not
gotta get my time right. Trying to feel that runner's rush or whatever the fuck I'm looking for, you know? But the other day I just went outside I was like, let me take one of these little bitch ass walks I used to do. And then I did, and I was like, God damn, this is a great city. You know, this is nice.
I'm living in the fabric of other humans.
Some trees. I see some water. I see some stuff, you know? It was good. It was a good time.
Yeah. I feel like, and it's so almost impossibly rare that this happens, but like there are times where I'm like, the best thing to do for me is to get outside as soon as humanly possible after I open my eyes.
Really?
Like when I lived in Portland, RIP, Chase is living in that town. RIP Chase's juggling store days.
Oh man.
And
a young kid trying to figure it out in the juggling store, you know?
Just trying to figure it out, you know?
Life, love, all these lessons that you like.
Love, knives that aren't that sharp but look kind of sharp.
Bendy knives. Or they like retract when you like stab someone, it goes back into the handle. So it looks like
full on joke shop.
Yeah, just gags and stuff. And you were just in there just like, man, this is it, you know? This is it.
Looping. Okay, now we're looping a little bit onto this. Now we're on a Chase double loop. But I now remember like in my hometown of Asheville, North Carolina, there's this like historic area just outside of this like place called the Biltmore Estate, which is like this big ass fucking old ass boring ass fucking home.
Oh, shout out to home.
Just like a Downton Abbey looking, thing. But outside of that is this thing called Biltmore Village, and it was basically like the fucking like oil barons or whatever that built this nice ass house, built this little village for like all of the people who worked there to basically like commute into their fucking mansion. But by the time that it became a tourist town. It's like the most kitschy fucking like that's where the Christmas store is. You know, if you have a touristy town, there's always a store with just all Christmas, and you think it sucks, and it fucking does. Then you walk in, and you're like, you know what, Christmas is a certain kind of magic, and it's kind of nice.
Dude, Christmas is magic. I love Christmas so much.
But they also had, again, before like a Chico's moved in, you know, like before like the boomer women took over as a demographic in that specific area, a Talbots, you know.
Mm-hmm. The Taliban. Yeah.
The Taliban.
Yeah. Before the
there
Taliban
was
moved
a
in.
magic and joke shop. And I remember going in as a kid and I thought it was awesome. And it was always the same guy that worked there. And he would like show you a magic trick, and basically just every time you showed him, he showed you the magic trick, you'd be like, oh, I'm buying that one. You know?
Yeah.
And I was like, I used to think that guy was the coolest. And literally just now I thought for the first time, like, oh man, that guy was a loser. You know?
Yeah, you know, like he was probably, I don't like think he was like sad, you know, but like he was lame.
Yeah, he sucked.
I mean? Yeah, like
yeah. Because I mean, like, again, if I was the guy that worked at that juggling store and I was who I was, and at the time I was all right, man. You know, but,
no, I don't doubt it.
But like this guy, he was the only guy there. The only customer, the only employee, like he must have owned it or something.
You think he lived there? You think he slept there in the back?
I hope
whatever?
So. I hope so. He did every night. Yeah. From my last trick.
Time travel to tomorrow, and then he falls asleep.
Time travel. Yeah. Do
you remember that guy's name?
Not to saw himself in half. No, it had to be Dale though. You know.
Dale. Okay. I was gonna go with like Randy. Like,
yeah. Maybe Dale's a little too like a hat with a very bent brim, you know?
Right.
So it could have just been like Eugene or something, you know? But no. I mean, I was like fourth grade or just, you know, like it was very early in my tenure in that town and that town's like comeuppance.
Okay, I have a similar experience where I was about the same age as when I was a kid, and I would go to rent movies and video games at Scott's Super Video. And Scott, the guy who ran it, was a young guy, and he was like young enough now that when I look back, I'm like, oh, that's impressive that you ran, like you had a video store. Yeah. But also I remember he was a white guy with a like razor thin beard, like just the line, and it like pencil thin drawn on beard all the way. And he had shaved head on the sides and the back, and then he had hair only on the top, and it was like braided in the tiniest braids with little beads. Like, you mean like when you walk through the door of like an incense shop, you know, or like a
and all of a sudden your hair just becomes that way.
Yeah, like a hippy dippy. You know when they have like beads for a door or whatever. And
yeah, absolutely.
Like weird.
No, I was just thinking about like when white girls come back from like a Cancun vacation.
Right. Yeah, like that. He had that. So like he couldn't move without making noise. You know?
Yeah.
And I used to like
like, oh yeah, sorry. Hey, Todd, is that his name?
No, his name was Scott. I'm pretty sure.
I didn't see this. Scott.
Maybe his name was Todd, and I just had it wrong this whole time.
No, Scott.
But like he just like, and I would talk to him about video games, and he would be like really cool with me, and I'd be like, dude, Scott rules or whatever, you know. And then, but now I look back, I'm like, that guy was fucking weird. Like that's a weird guy, you know.
I think that when you're young, if someone will talk to you like you're an adult, and by that I mean just like basically not ask you any dumb questions like how's school or like what's your favorite subject, you know, like all the fucking questions like a person who actually cares about you should say.
Right.
You know, if they're just like, you know, like, how's it hanging? You know, you're like, oh yeah.
This guy just asked me about my dick. Yeah. This guy's cool. He gets me.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but you're right. He would just be like, yeah, you want to rent Sonic 2? That game's great. You know?
Like, yeah. And you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I was just talking to my buddy. We were talking about Sonic 2, you know.
Yeah, he's good. And he's like just ringing it up like
Yeah.
in the back of his head. So to loop all of that back, when I lived in Portland and I worked at that stupid juggling store, I would make it my prerogative for like, especially when the weather was nice, which is half of the year, best case scenario, usually less than that, to just, I literally would wake up, pour cereal, and just barrel out of that like house that I shared with people, like walk out onto the street, just like eating cereal. And honestly, it was like
fever.
Yeah, it was like, but it was good. Like it was like the Truman Show every morning.
You're like, I gotta get to the magic shop.
Yeah,
I gotta get to Juggleville,
Juggletown, Juggle A instead of Juggalo.
When you worked at the juggling store, like,
yeah.
What's the most things you could juggle at once? And
honestly, not that much. I was more of a unicycle guy.
Oh, really? So what, you were just like,
I could juggle three things. I could juggle three things. That's it.
But they were like, oh, what can you do? And you're like, oh, hold on. And you would like run to the back and come pedaling back out.
I guess that's not true. I think there was a very brief time where I could juggle.
You were young, spry.
Yeah, when you could do those 2 columns, like bah, 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 But that was short-lived. I could. Well,
that was
I could
before
juggle.
The accident.
That was before the accident. I could. I could juggle and ride a unicycle at the same time, if that was any consolation. And to be also fair, like, again, let's like dive into the niche. I was more of like a unicycle person who rode unicycles, not a person who like tricked on unicycles,
right.
So I literally commuted.
That was your
A
to B. Yeah.
Absolutely. I commuted to work on a motherfucking unicycle. Dude, it was fucking tight.
That is fucking incredible.
It took me 30 minutes to get to work. And honestly, if I was on a bike,
it was 4 blocks.
No, it was a significant, like Portland's the only town you can commute on a unicycle, and number one, people won't throw tomatoes right in your face.
Yeah. Can you imagine you're coming down like in LA, like 144th Street or some shit like that?
Yeah, absolutely. They will run you over on purpose.
Yeah.
No, I straight up. Well, the other reason I rode my unicycle there is because it was way easier. What's up?
The pussy.
No, the pussy. Yeah. 100% was the gals that I got on the street on the way in. Just like, they were just doing that wolf noise, like woo woo, and their eyes are bugging out, and their jaw's going down. They're like, ha ha ha,
Yeah. You were like, sorry, ladies, I've already got a gal to throw on the train tracks.
Excuse me while I ride this unicycle in my jorts, which I 100% wore.
Could you jump? Could you jump in it?
A little bit,
like,
yeah.
Could you jump up on the curb if you needed to?
I could jump on a curb. Yeah.
Oh, dude, you were a stone cold killer then.
I could definitely go off curbs real easy. And depending on the height of the curb, I mean, it would take a little bit, but I could do it. But the other thing was I could store my unicycle inside this store, so I didn't have to bring a lock or anything. And so
you were just bringing a wheel and a chair is all you were bringing.
And no shirt, obviously,
No shirt.
Well, the cool thing about, again, the best thing, I genuinely mean this, the best thing about living in Portland is you're never the weirdest one,
Right.
Like I rode a unicycle and there were like so many, like number one, I lived in Portland when this guy called the Unipiper, like rose to viral prominence. He was like a motherfucker who played bagpipes while riding a unicycle.
Okay.
Rode around and like he, what I mean? So like, if you ever want to throw someone on a bus, go after that guy, because he's playing the fucking bagpipes. Like, yeah, he's riding a unicycle, but you don't have to throw it in my fucking face,
Right. Yeah. No, that guy.
Hate bagpipes.
Yeah, dude, that guy sounds fucking stupid as hell.
And then also, I knew a guy who straight up had a unicycle with like a really big fucking wheel, and this motherfucker, like, I rode to work and like on some trails and stuff and like had a great time. This dude would go camping on his unicycle. Like he put a backpack on and he just ride straight out of town and just go into the fucking woods. And he had been only riding this guy. I think his name was like Duncan or something, which feels right,
Yeah.
He
was a Highlander.
Duncan he was a Highlander.
Is that the rules? You have to kill another unicycler if you see him?
Yeah, as soon as you learn, you have to.
Right.
Yeah, there can only be like a fixed number of unicyclers. Like I think it's 1,006 in Portland proper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the sixth highest level, he was a mage in the
Yeah, gotcha.
in the inner
You know what's
circle.
crazy? It was when you said you're I'm not even the weirdest one. I thought you were gonna say something like, I had a coworker who was just carried into the shop every day by ants. He just had an army of ants that would bring him in.
No, I have different varieties of
Yeah, but
unicycles.
it's still just unicyclers. It was just different, all kinds of unicyclers, like that
That's right.
subculture.
There was a time at that specific time when there was like a kind of gang of unicycles. There were a bunch of grown men.
A gang.
Sad. Yeah, they were super sad, in my opinion.
I bet they were sad. I'm sure they weren't in a good mood.
30 something guys that played like unicycle polo, which is like bike polo, but dorkier, but still as aggressive. I don't know. And yeah, they had this like fake gang, and they were kind of mean to people. I forget the name of their.
Like, are they
gang.
like? Because they feel like they're from like in like a broken community.
No. These
what are they
men.
hanging their hat on as like that's
I
upsetting to them?
think they were hanging their hat on the fact that it isn't cute that they rode unicycles, which is like, no, you're wrong. It's very cute. You know? And I think that, again, specifically they like to play unicycle polo, which I've never witnessed either bike polo or unicycle polo in person. But
is that a rough game?
It's a rough game. It's like rugby for bikes. You know?
Okay, so they didn't get knocked down and like
they were
that clown noise like when they fall.
Yeah, one butt cheek.
You're out.
One butt cheek always does. But yeah. So I honestly, I remember they did some races. I did some races. And they were mean. They were just, honestly, their main thing was that they were mean. Just mean. Just like sarcastic, mean people.
Well, I know we're supposed to be doing like the Craigslist game right now, but okay, so I have several questions though.
Okay,
So one, you did unicycle races.
I absolutely did. Yeah.
Okay. And what is that? What the fuck is that?
This is going to be a bit of a deep dive, Nick, if you're, so,
you think I won't be the same after this?
Yeah. I mean, I think this is the blue pill, red pill.
Am I a detective that's getting too close to this case?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So there's this discipline of bike racing called cyclocross racing, which is like a mixed terrain. Like basically, I'm so sorry you're learning about this on this podcast, and Nick and everybody. But it was a specific style of racing that was like invented in Belgium, and they would do cross training in the winter where basically they would like go from A to B, but there was no rules as to how you got there, right? So you could run through fields. Like it was like you go ape shit. So you would ride like what looks like a road bike, but you'd ride it on like trails, on dirt, on pavement. You have to run upstairs. Like it's like a circuit race. It's actually the funnest like bike race you've ever fucking seen in your entire goddamn life.
Okay.
That is very popular in Portland because, well, it's Portland. And because it was so popular in Portland, the unicyclists caught wind of it. And they negotiated a way to race on the same course for like a shorter, like a normal race on a bike is like an hour or maybe 40 minutes or something. On a unicycle, it was more like 15 minutes or 20 minutes. And you just did one lap of this same course that these cyclists are using. And you just like, you would do it, you'd start right after the beginners began. So like you wouldn't get laps until, maybe 3/4 of the way through the course. Right. So like you mostly had the course to yourself. And so you would just race with these unicyclists, and it was perfectly impossible. Like a lot of times you would just literally have to pick up a unicycle or a bike and just run up a muddy hill or whatever the fuck it was. And I did that, and it was fucking awesome.
Yeah. How did you do?
Bad. It is so bad.
Really?
Well, there's this one guy who fucking won every single one.
Do you remember his name?
I want to say it was Jack, but I don't think it was.
It wasn't like Dirk McSpeed or something like that. Yeah.
Dirk McFlurkin. No, he was just good. He was the only one who trained for it, I'm pretty sure.
He just was half unicycle.
Yeah. He should have got a bike. There actually should have been another division.
You guys all should have gotten bikes.
Absolutely.
So. Yeah, we absolutely. And you know what? Take a step further, get cars.
They never. Some of them did race unicycles, and then they would race a bike because they were already on site, and there were like races all throughout the day.
And they were like, I can double up on the wheels. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. You give me another wheel, it's fucking easy.
Okay, back to this job as a juggler. How How? Okay.
So those are my credentials. Like if someone was like, "Oh, I'm not a drug lord," I'm like, "Well, yeah, I'm a unicycler and like I race and you know what I mean." Like,
you show them your tattoo or whatever. Yeah.
Just show them like my dick neck. You know what I'm talking about? Just the top of the neck, top of the dick.
So you work at this job. Do you start unicycling into work first, or do you over time go, "This is the way I should switch from my car or switch from walking"? I'm gonna start
biking, bro. I'm biking. It's Portland. So I was biking and then I switched because again, the option one is you bike there and then you leave your bike locked outside, just outside. You can literally see it out the window of the shop in the pouring fucking rain all fucking day. And you sit there and you look at that bike and like, that can't be good for that bike. It's not good. You know, I don't know. I've told too many people this and they don't like this, but it's the truth. Bikes do not belong outside overnight. Bikes should come inside. Really? They're going to get rusty and stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
No, I'm just saying, like, you get a lot of pushback on that.
Oh yeah, people like I know people are like,
like, no, my bike likes it outside.
No, they don't want. It's that they don't want to put their bike inside because it takes up a lot of space, right? Like they're like they live in an apartment complex, and like, oh, I wish I could lock up my bike, and I'm like, oh, that's the worst place you could do that because number one, it shouldn't be outside. Like especially if you live somewhere that isn't LA, like it's the humidity alone is gonna fucking rust your fucking parts and shit eventually, or just corrode it over time with just whatever. Dirt, dust, shit. And then the other thing is if it's parked outdoors in the same place every fucking day, someone's gonna walk by and be like, I bet you I can steal that. And they're gonna walk by the next day and be like, now I know I can steal that. And then come back on the third day and be like, now I'm gonna fucking steal that.
Right, right. Now I am gonna steal it.
You're giving them infinity time to plan. So anyway, it was basically I look at my bike in the rain, getting nasty, even nastier than riding it there. And I was just like, and then you got to come out to a soaking wet fucking bike to go home. Right. You got a little plastic nasty ass grocery bag on the seat, but like, then you're just your bike just starts wet, right. or you show up and again, you had to lock it. You had to stand in the rain through all of that. Just like getting out there, fucking putting your lock in your backpack, all that shit. Or you show up in a unicycle and you walk right inside. And then you tuck it away in their little fucking attic.
Put it back in your coat pocket or whatever. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, my little little front pocket that they have in like those Target shirts.
Yeah, exactly.
Just tuck it in there. That was the philosophy.
Man, that is crazy. It is super crazy. You are like a Dr. Seuss character in this job.
Yeah. I met those people at those races. That's not true. I guess I met them when I bought a unicycle from them.
Yeah, you met them at like a Fish concert or whatever.
But I got to know them at the races, and that's how I got the job.
You guys are all coming down from acid at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we all went to a Cirque show. And we're just like, aren't the Beatles incredible?
Yeah.
Because they did that fucking Beatles, like all Beatles show or whatever.
Man.
Love. Hey man, can I get a job at your fucking See, okay, we should start with these Craigslist posts or we're never gonna go anywhere. Here we go. We're saying fuck this place, fuck this place, fuck this place. Post number 1 from the vault is this is just from LA Craigslist. I don't remember from who. Buff dudes and old dudes. Quick photo shoot.
Nice.
But it's nice that you have both,
Immediately, if you had to pick one that you are, what are you, a buff dude or an old dude?
I mean, I ain't a buff dude.
Yeah. Same here. So we're just old dudes.
So I guess I'm an old dude. I mean, depending on who you are, I could very much, but we talked about this on the podcast. If you're 19, man, I'm old to you.
Yeah.
I'm old.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna dispute that. I'm not gonna stop. I remember when I was in college. I had a voice teacher who was probably my age now, mid-30s, and she was talking about what it was like to be hungover in your 30s or whatever. And I was usually basically just in my head, I was like, "You're just fucking weak. You're a fucking idiot who's weak, and
you're just a coward." Yeah,
that's right. You're a coward, and you don't know how to hydrate. That was essentially my thought, and I was wrong. It hurts so much more now.
Dude, anyway. It hurts so much more. It was just like, oh yeah, your car's weak, and then you go outside and your car has no wheels left. Like, oh, Yeah, it is harder when you don't have those advantages.
I guess you're right. Right. Okay, buff dudes and old dudes. Quick photo shoot. Looking for some super ultra buff muscle dudes. Have you ever seen a fit person in your life for a quick 1 hour or less photo shoot? There's no way that's true. Some funny and goofy workout photos for a comedy sketch. Also, if you're an old guy with an interesting look, please apply.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Sounds bad. That sounds bad.
Awful.
Although pay $50 an hour.
Yeah, for what though? For what? If you're like an old dude, these young buff guys to beat you up. What's the video? They just put you in headlocks for an hour?
Yeah, it's just noogies. It's all noogies.
It's just old guy noogies on
and
like
you're
your
bald,
weird
so it's like,
your cul-de-sac hair.
Cul-de-sac hair. Yes. Pay $50 an hour. Going to be quick and a damn good time. So they're doing drugs? Is that what
again, I would stress good time for who?
Please send a headshot when applying. Probably filming on 5/5/22 availability is flexible. And compensation does reiterate $50 per hour for 1 hour. There's no way it's an hour. There's no way.
Including setup and teardown? No way. Not even close.
Again,
like
you're
they're
in Los
setting
Angeles.
up like the dunk tank or whatever to put the old guy in. You know, how long is that going to take?
Hey, listen, guy. Sorry, old guy. Can I call? Do you mind if I call you old? Just oldie. Sorry, oldie. The dunk tank. We are waiting on the piranhas, so we're just going to have to hold for another quick 7 hours. But the piranhas are arriving, so just hang tight.
We are looking to warm up our arms though, so if you could get in, we're just going to do some practice.
Also, if you just want to stand there, we're going to punch you right in the stomach.
If you don't mind, my friend here is going to hold both your arms back while I punch you in the chest.
So, yeah, I mean, you don't like, look, as a person who's been a part of shooting sketches, you don't know any of these people. You don't know a single ultra buff muscle dude, even a half buff muscle dude. Also, what's wrong with, and maybe this is just my personality, buy one of those fake muscle guy shirts. You're done. You got a muscle guy. You know what I mean? Like whatever the joke is, it can't be as good as that.
Yeah, it's not going to be as funny as that.
It's not going to be as funny as a guy. Like if it's like, oh, muscle guys beat up old guy, just buy the He-Man thing. And your joke just got 60 times better. So I'm sorry I wrote your sketch for you already, and it's better. So like, fuck you. And again, like this is LA. You don't know one person who's got some biceps, you know?
Right.
And now you understand, I can understand if you're short on old guys. Like you might be a 20 something who just pulled up to the city or whatever.
Your old people are all back in Kansas City or whatever.
So I get it. But again, likewise, get a Richard Nixon mask.
Right.
And you got yourself an old guy. And what did you need? What did you need? It's comedy. It doesn't matter, you know? But again, that's because my aesthetic is and always has been people putting on a play, like, you know, like kids, you know, kids in trench coats putting on a play. So, but obviously no. And I'm also, now I'm in the writer's room, you know? So I'm going to show up.
So you don't need to be on camera. Yeah.
I'm going to show up and I'm going to tell you how to do your thing better. And it's going to be better. And I'm not even going to get a fucking credit for it. So absolutely not. No, I'm out.
I'm going to show up and I'm going to insist that I'm one of the buff dudes.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I'm buff, dude. I'm buff. Like,
please send a headshot.
Like maybe like Jason Momoa next to me. Be like, yeah, I'm about his size. Yeah. We're both the buff dudes in this. I got it.
Yeah, we're the buff guys. We're the buff guys.
No, I don't want anything to do with this. These guys sound sophomorically mean. And while I might laugh at the bit, I will not be participating.
Yeah, if it works, good for you.
Yeah, right.
But I'm not going to be a part of your weirdo fucking train. Okay, post number 2. Music video. Ooh. We got some casting situations here. Music video casting in quotation marks, janitor.
Okay, this sounds like a more artistic way of saying the same thing we said in the last post.
We didn't all got a punch.
Another old guy to beat up.
Okay, so the text begins. Feel your love. Music video. What the fuck?
Fuck you. Get out of here.
And I know that we're gonna make our way through the post. But one thing that makes me mad: we don't have a single YouTube to click on to make fun of these people.
Right? They know. They know what they are.
You can't even show me you singing in a field all alone or something. Feel your love. Union status, non-union. Oh, really? Wow. Producer, Rad Fox Films. Director, Jonah Z Helms.
Why would you call yourself anything Fox if you were not part of the
horny
Fox
old lady?
network? Well, like, no, I just mean like, it's like Fox Film. I hear Rad Fox Films, but I'm like, the Fox, like Fox, like the news
Fox network.
Yeah. I'm just like, why would you even risk that? Rad Fox,
Rad Disney Media. Like, there's a certain part of this we're going to focus on. I was already on Jonah Z Helms, but yeah, this guy sounds like a real.
He sounds like a real piece of shit.
Who's that guy that directed the Transformers? What's that guy? And Armageddon
Michael
and stuff.
Bay.
He sounds like a real Michael Bay wannabe. You know.
Sure.
Like a guy who wants to. Yeah, it's like I like my shots to be a little bit dirty.
Yeah.
And like I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I need a wider lens. We're in a hallway. We don't need a bigger shot of this hallway.
Well, I want to make sure to get all the concrete. We got to get it dirty. It's dirty in here. That's Jonah Z Helms for you. Shoot date is in May. Rate of pay $200. Okay.
Depending on the length of the day, though.
Sure. Location Los Angeles. Casting all ethnicities, all genders. Ideally over 55. Again, you just need an old person. You don't know one.
Right.
And you've never been to a nursing home. Submit demo, headshot, and resume. Self-tapes preferred. Just introduce yourself and or tell us a story. And there's a smiley face. Janitor. All ethnicities, all genders. Ideally over 55. We already said this. Actor must be vaccinated. Okay. The tiniest slice of reason. In an otherwise chaos post. Dance experience a plus. Now we're getting a clue as to what's happening here.
Okay. They want an old guy who can dance.
Old guy who can dance. They want Christopher Walken in Weapon of Choice. Fabulous.
Gotcha. Classic.
Great video. All grin and no teeth. With a sparkle in their eye.
Not pulling my teeth out for this job.
I don't think so. They should have retired by now, but without a family or retirement plan, they are stuck cleaning up after rowdy high schoolers to pay.
Oh, do you want to be the saddest fictional character ever?
Yeah, wait, we got to finish this. To pay for their one bedroom under the train tracks.
Under the train tracks is where they live. Under the train tracks.
What are we doing under train tracks?
Like he lives underground?
I think this person is thinking of maybe like, I'm trying to think of recent time. Maybe it was like Lovecraft Country. Is that what it was on HBO, where that guy lived in Chicago or something, and they lived under the elevated train in Chicago, and you could hear it rumble by, and the guy wore suspenders and a fucking in like a tank top, and tucked it into his like pleated khakis with a like. Who the fuck lives under train tracks?
Yeah, I was thinking like, they make him, he digs his own like grave every day, and that's where he sleeps, is in the ground under the tracks.
They're just so mad that it's so loud. You're like, you're under the train tracks, buddy. It's either that some sort of like vintage, like 20s, so like, well, see here, mister. Or it's, living in a van down by the river situation. Under the train tracks. Okay. So I guess that's really more of a character description. Like, they're not saying that you need to have no teeth. But again, like, why say that? Because to have no teeth is hard to pull off. Anyway, storyline. Feel your love, which is also like, I'm sorry, rowdy high schoolers feel your love, like under the train tracks. Like, there are 3 separate worlds we're living in here. Like,
right.
Like, Feel Your Love sounds like an R&B fucking video. Rowdy High Schoolers sounds like a fucking 80s song. and then anyway, whatever. Feel Your Love takes place in the aftermath. And then Under the Train Tracks is like a Frank Miller, like Sin City situation. Rorschach's Journal, day 75. Feel Your Love takes place in the aftermath of a neo 80s high school dance. Imagine the final dance scene in Footloose without the audience to cheer on Kevin Bacon. So there's no audience? Imagine being invited to headline your prom without an audience except for the janitor. Why would you headline a prom? Cleaning up the mess in the background.
Oh my God. What?
Okay, I think I just pieced it together. And again, this is like Chase's most generous view of all time. But what they're trying to do is show a band let's just say. Let's say fucking Third Eye Blind or something, you know?
Oh,
And they're,
tight.
it's super tight. And they're playing a song to an empty room that's like clearly been, people have been there before. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like a party just vacated, right? So there's shit on the floor, right? And there's just a janitor cleaning up all that, like indifferent to them playing. This is the coolest version of this video.
Right.
Is the janitor is indifferent to them playing their music, right? And they're just like mopping and they're just getting shots. I would hope, again, most generous view of all time. The stage is well lit. Where everybody used to be is not anymore. So you're getting shot like silhouette shots of like someone with like a fucking push broom moving across. An excellent band just fucking ripping it in the background. That's the absolute best case scenario that's going on here.
Oh God, that sucks.
Yeah,
that is also lame. That is also lame.
Sorry. Post continues. Exact location is TBD.
Of course, you don't have a location.
Yeah, like exact location. You're going to need to find like an actual high school gym. Address will be provided 48 to 72 hours before shooting begins. AKA.
Okay, great, cool. So I guess go ahead, Chase.
You don't have a location at all.
Yeah, I was gonna say, oh, okay, cool. I guess maybe I'll find out 48 to 72 hours that it's actually 200 miles away.
Or that it's in Mikey's living room and they're like, we're going to go more of a Jimmy World in the middle situation.
I mean, if this was like they're saying the video was going to be in a house, I'd be like, oh, they're renting an Airbnb because you don't find out the location till right before. That's what they're doing. I mean, I've rented locations to shoot things and you rent the location.
You know the address.
You know the location.
Before you get the talent.
Yeah, right.
In a sense. Casting information and descriptions are confidential and copyright protected is what it says.
Okay.
As if someone's they're going to read this and be like, what the fuck's going on? But then they listen to this podcast and like, actually, Chase's idea of that janitor thing isn't so bad,
I'm gonna run with this.
So we're going to do that, but we're not in LA. We're in Oklahoma. And so we can fucking just, we can just use our gym.
Huge gin blossoms come back out of the music video.
Oh man, the gin blossoms, wallflowers, Blind Melon. I know that guy's dead, but
Oh yeah. What a time.
What a time. So, what I also wonder if they're saying the casting information and descriptions are confident. Are they trying to hide further information from you about the rest of this?
I think they're just trying to hide the fact that they don't have information. I think that's what a lot of this is.
Yeah, this is very good.
At this point, what do you have? You've recorded a song? Like that's the only thing you're bringing to the table, right?
I mean, we got Rad Fox Films at the Jonah Z Helm,
I mean, like, this is not good. This is like, because like when you read like casting stuff, they'll give you a little bit about generally what it's about.
What you're going to do. For instance, this person has not said that you will be doing what I described in the music video, which is like pretending to clean.
But it's like pick a thing to have. Either know what the idea is or have all the locations down.
Yeah.
Show me that you have something. Because right now you just have just a song. And it sounds like you're kind of pitching this to me while you're laying down. Like, you got it all the way together,
It does. It does very much feel like we are all smoking weed, and we're outside of this high school, and someone's like, in 20 years, I'm gonna make a video. It's gonna be just like this, and you're like, yeah, man, hell yeah, fuck this fucking school. So no, I mean, obviously no. Also, what do they mean when they casting all ethnicities, all genders? Like, you just need one ethnicity, one gender. Anyway, they could just say anybody, right? It feels. Where are you going to get a woman over 55 to sign up
no
for this?
teeth, and she wants to do this?
And it's like, well, I do live under the train tracks. So yeah, I mean, obviously, like, no, what? Not just fuck this place. It's fuck you, man.
yeah, fuck you and fuck your idea. Because this sounds like best case scenario. This is super dumb, and worst case scenario, it's probably kind of mean.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And I see compensation $200 flat rate needed on set for roughly 6 hours. Nope. If you don't have a location,
if you say roughly 6 hours,
No, you don't even know if you're going to have the set for 6 hours. You don't know if you're going to need it for 8. You don't know if you're going to be able to afford it for 8. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, best case scenario, this is a $200 like 2-day hang.
Yeah, no, thanks.
And maybe there's Little Caesars. And Little Caesars.
That's probably what he's providing, Little Caesars. He's telling you it's just as good.
Hey man, we got Little Caesars on property.
I got plenty of Little Caesars if that's what you're interested in.
Are you going to be our janitor? I'm sorry, what? Yeah, you're going to be the janitor? Oh, it's a janitor that gets all jammed up. Anyway, we're going to stick stuff in your butt. Okay. Fuck this place.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
What's going on, guys?
Hey, did you know that you can text this podcast? The number is 470-223-5627. That's 470-223-5627. We take your side, by the way. That's an automatic position. If you text us, we're on your side.
Yeah, I don't give a damn about your boss. You think I'm going to protect that guy? I hate that guy. I hate that guy. I got your back. We got your back here.
Absolutely. If we're like this is like a weirdo, like sleazy lawyer commercial. I mean, we're on your side to a point, you know.
Mm-hmm. I'm wearing a goofy suit right now.
I'm wearing a brown tie. Couldn't tell you why. If you need us to talk shit about something, like we're your shit talking team. All you gotta do is text 470-223-5627. That's 470-223-5627. We're on your side.
All right, kiddos. It's time for either Chase has been on Reddit for too long or the name that Nick said that I already forgot.
The troubles of Reddit.
The troubles of Reddit. Nay, the troubles of Reddit. We got 2 people writing in to Reddit, and we are also happen to be. It's sort of like we're both lost in the woods, you know, and someone's screaming from like a tree, and you pass underneath them, and you're like, I caught what they said. And then you just think about it as you keep walking.
Yeah.
You know, because like I'm not telling you, you know. You're like, I'm stuck in this tree, it's on fire. And you're like, man, I wonder what would happen if they put that out. Anyway, that's the gist of this segment. Query, burning tree number 1 is begins. And the title it goes like this. 5 months into job and afraid I'm going to get fired due to poor performance. However, I find it near impossible to interview due to working 10 to 12-hour days. How should I navigate this? An interesting question. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of it, in my mind, if you're working 10 to 12-hour days, sounds like your job is pretty secure.
Yeah.
because who else wants to do that? But then again, what if this person's like a nurse? You know, because that happens, right? Nurses work for 12-hour shifts.
Also, if you're working 10 to 12-hour days, I mean, I don't know what your financial situation is, but you should be saving money.
You should be making. That's right. You should be getting some overtime.
You have that many hours clocked in. You should be putting money away so that if you do think you're going to get fired, you have a nest egg to like.
It's a good point.
Go out and interview.
Yeah. Unless it's like some weird like salary where they're not making extra money, but
it could be. Yeah.
Okay, so those are our speculations, and then their text begins as mentioned in the title. I started a new job exactly 5 months ago to the day. Ooh. It was a somewhat different job to what I had before, and partially due to that, has a steep learning curve. And the first 5 months, for the most part, has not gone well at all. That's just funny. That's funny to me. That it's not going well. Okay. It has largely been due to myself sorry, I'm messing with the Zoom. It has largely been due to myself just failing to understand a lot of things. Yeah.
Respect.
Despite learning as much as I can, asking as many questions as I can, and I even set up one-on-ones with my boss to help make it easier to learn as much as possible. And it has mostly not been working. Okay.
What do you do?
Yeah, what are you doing? It seems like the only reason why I'm still here is because 2 people recently moved on to other jobs with different companies. So we are short-staffed and just need people. Ding, ding, ding. That's for sure why you're still there. And this is largely why I have been working 10 to 12-hour days. is due to having an insane workload from those people leaving, and on top of the fact that I am new and been a bit slow with things due to still trying to learn things. Okay.
Okay, you are really keeping this close to the vest.
Yeah.
You don't understand all the things, guys.
No,
The things I'm doing.
I can see the writing
Oh
on.
my God, the things. And then when you're done with the things, they start talking about the stuff.
I mean,
I don't even have time to go to the places.
And don't even talk to me about the people.
Yeah.
The people, I mean, they are on my case because I always
what if this guy's like working undercover for the cops? He's just like, I don't get it.
Like on a stakeout, like sitting, like eating fries next to like Gary Busey or whatever.
Yeah. He's just like, so we kill these guys? No, we don't kill them. We arrest. Oh, okay.
We hunt them for sport.
Okay. We get money for that. We don't get money for it. We're just
Listen, we are observing and reporting, Rook.
Yeah.
You know, I do think that part of this might be when this person is being vague on things. It's like maybe this person doesn't know what they're doing. Like, you know, like maybe
you can be like, I work in a grocery store. Like,
I work selling cell phones. Yeah, no, I completely agree. We exist in the ether as far as what this person does. And we've got one paragraph left. I do not think we're going to round the corner there. I can see the writing on the wall. Are there walls at your job? That once they hire someone, I may get the boot and get fired. How do I navigate working 10 to 12-hour days and doing interview seems almost impossible to fit in? Should I just quit as I have about 4 years of expenses saved up?
Dude.
What the fuck?
What the fuck, dude? You're fucking weird, dude. Like, dude.
Hey, should I get married? I don't really know if I should get married because I have a wife already. And also I'm afraid I'm going to get the boot because I'm the only one around. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right. I don't know if I want to get married. I'm with a girl I've been with for several years. She's the love of my life. We're crazy about each other. We have 2 kids together.
We just bought a house.
We're living in the house we just bought. And I just don't know if I should take that next step, you know?
It's like, I mean, honestly, like, again, there's so much going on in the first little bit, but the last sentence is like, you got 4 years, 4 years of expenses saved up. You have to be a cop.
Yeah. When we started that first paragraph and I was like, he should be saving money. You had no idea how you're gonna get slapped in the fucking face. Save up 3 months of what I meant, you know, and I was almost gonna walk it back and be like, look, I understand some people like they have to work that much and they can't save. Like I was gonna try to be sympathetic towards that, but also, what? No, fuck this guy. Like, you have 4. Oh my God, dude. If I had 4 years worth of expenses saved up, I'll tell you right now, Chase, you would never see me again. I would disappear into the woods until that was all gone, and then I'd kill myself. That'd be it. I'd be done.
Yeah, you masturbate yourself to death in the woods.
Right. You know, and that would be it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ghost stories about me.
Someone just finds your shack in the woods, and it's just full of like just old hustlers or whatever.
Yeah, this is that man who saved up 4 years of expenses and just jacked it all away.
Jacked it all away.
Spent it all on porno mags.
He didn't even know the internet was free. He could have paid $60 a month for internet.
Just copies of gigantic asses. All I had here.
It's just called Big Ass Magazine.
Big Ass Magazine. Get a subscription.
The only reason I bring that up is like I think I remember I read one of this book I really liked. There was like this, it's called Sometimes a Great Notion. It's by Ken Kesey. Wow. One of my dear friends who wrote in a podcast a long time ago about Papa Murphy. Shout out to Ben. He introduced me to the book. But there's a character in this book who's like, it's like a small town, and like, you know how people just like live with permanent small town shame. And there's one character whose dad was just really good looking. Like I didn't. This is the most ununderstandable character of the entire book. He was so good looking. He got a lot of ladies or whatever, but he was also, I think he must have been a sex addict or something, you know, but he's just like, he was a womanizer. And bottom line is essentially they found him, he disappeared. They found him in a shack in the woods with just a bunch of nudie mags. And like he jacked himself off to death.
He just jacked himself off to death.
Because he was just so good looking. Like it was so weird. And then his son, I think intentionally fucked his own face up so he would never, you know, face the same fate as his father. You know, like some real like Old Testament shit. Anyway,
these guys were both like, he's so good looking that like he had to kill himself, and then his son was like, oh my god, I might also be that good looking, so let me just fuck my face
maim
up.
my face. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Anyway, what I'm saying is both of those guys have like real problems. This motherfucker didn't have any problems.
No.
4 years of expenses. I mean, again, like it's so hard to ignore that now that we've seen it.
Yeah.
But like, let's just imagine for a second that you don't have your entire life planned out. Right.
And in woods saving, you could jack yourself off to death for years. You could easily jack yourself off to death for 8 years.
Yeah, and then especially if you pick another country to live in, like if you didn't do the U.S.
Oh my God, yeah. If you went to like Guatemala, you could jack yourself off in the jungle for like, I don't know, 13, 14 years.
13, 14 years. Dude, that 4 years has multiplied so hard.
Yeah, with all your subscription of like Nalgas Gigantes. You know?
Yeah, you cannot read the Spanish, you know, because clearly you're this guy, you know, but you don't need to read to know what's going on.
Right.
No, God. I think they mean gigantes. Oh, Jesus Christ. You're that guy. You know, you've been in Guatemala for 6 weeks. So like, okay, let's just leave that aside because other people I'm sure are in this other situation where they're working a lot and they're afraid they're going to get fired and they're really like, why are you no, I'm sorry, I can't. How are you so bad at your job and you have 4 years of expenses saved?
Yeah.
You were bad. You were good at your other job.
Yeah, maybe his job is he buries dead bodies and he keeps like forgetting which ones are where.
And they have money in their pockets and he just thinks that it's for. I do think that there's also a possibility this person doesn't actually have 4 years of expenses saved up. Like they're just in. I mean, if they're if they're as bad at math as they are describing their predicament, then I would not have a lot of faith in them. You know,
right?
Like, oh yeah. Well, my job is things, and I have a location that I go to, and I have 4 years of expenses. And you just open this person's closet of where they believe they have their expenses, and it's just literally balls of hair and yarn.
Right.
Like,
can you imagine trying to meet up with for a beer with this guy? It's like, yeah, I'm outside of a building. It's on there's a sidewalk and then the street right next to that. There's some cars passing by, but I can't get a good look at any of them. They're all kind of fast.
They're all kind of fast. All the cars are so fast. Oh, they're so fast. The sun is up.
Yeah,
I can tell you the sun is out.
That one's red. That one's blue. That one's more of a maroon. Now that I think of that first one.
It might be passing you. It might be passing you now, or maybe.
Do you see any of these cars coming by?
Yeah, you're like, oh, I'm inside now. There's neon, Miller Lite. They have Miller Lite here, and you're like, guy, I can't. I don't know anything. I don't even know your name. So I have 1,000 questions, but mostly I'm mad now because you've got money saved up. You don't have any fucking problems, dude.
Yeah, you're just weird.
You're just weird, and I know there's nothing that can solve that. I'll tell you that right now.
Right, exactly.
So the reason that you're going to get fired is because you're weird. I guess.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I don't think you're bad at your job. You're just weird. People don't want to.
But then again, if you have 4 years of expenses saved up, somehow you were successful.
Somehow you'll find another job where they think you're weird. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So I would say quit your job. You know, my normal stance on this podcast really hammers home. So we're gonna say, you know, you should fuck that place. Right. Exactly. And bye. Okay. Question number 2, and this one is, shall we say, considerably longer. We're gonna kind of make our way through it. This person, I think, has a good. I think This person has weird ways of saying it, but I think that, again, it's a universal question worth poking around at. The title is, I hate work. Am I selfish?
Nice.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, and let me just, before we go through this whole fucking thing, no, you're not selfish. I mean, maybe you are selfish, but like that's also, everyone you work with and for is also selfish.
Right, right.
So anyway, so this person begins. It's clear and clear to me that I am not made for a regular 9 to 5. Oh yeah? You think? My colleagues clearly are and explicitly tell me they are.
Okay.
Oh man, you work with losers.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, just think back for a second, Nick.
Done.
I think second over to any of the people you work with ever.
Okay.
When has any of them ever said out loud explicitly that they are made for the type of work that you're doing?
Oh, without tears in their eyes? Never.
Never, dude. Never once has someone turned to me and been like, I'm made for this, you know?
Yeah.
I can understand that you could say like,
dishes? Yeah, that's my thing.
Yeah, like I intuit that these people are good at this and I'm not, or whatever, like the other person did, but they're explicitly telling you they're
right.
Anyway.
I was born to sell cell phones, dog.
Exactly.
Put me on this planet for it.
And I know that those people exist, especially in sales, but like, you know, those people are sociopaths right away. Anyway, I think we're going to be stopping.
It's still just like drink themselves into the ground.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. They're not good people. We've said it 1,000 times. There are people who are good at sales and there are people who are great at sales. And the people who are great at sales, for the most part, have to turn a certain part of their brain off, especially to sell shitty fucking shit. And you don't want to be the person who's great at sales at selling something bad, right? Like the mind that it takes is not a mind that you want for the rest of your existence. You know, like you transfer that mind to like just being on the road or like being in a relationship with someone. That's bad. You can be good at sales, selling decent or good things. That's a different scenario. I'm talking about the people that can sell anything to anybody. You don't want that fucking shit. Exactly. Okay. That's my point of view. Come at me, bro, if you want. 473-223-5627, whatever. I forget the number. Okay. I'm so not, it hurts. So not made for this. When analyzing myself to find out why all of them seem like they're born for office jobs and thrive in it, I came to ask myself the following painful questions. This person's in pain. Number 1, am I just lazy? 2, don't I want to contribute to society? 3, am I selfish? And 4, did I watch too many movies and think everyone's lives should be purposeful, meaningful, unique, and special? What an interesting collection of questions. Am I just lazy? Fine. Don't I want to contribute to society is like, I'm sorry, where's the report card? You know what I mean? Like I don't get me wrong. I have wanted to contribute to certain things, you know, like there are times when, you know, like when I was running a comedy show, I was like, I want to contribute to the stand-up like community and like scene where it's like I provide stage time for people, you know, like I want to contribute like to society. hard line on that one to say that you're doing that. And I also understand that people want to benefit society, but I think contribute to and benefit are different. Like, oh, I want to work in the nonprofit space. I want to do good. Like contribute to society sounds a little bit to me like I really want to pay taxes. You know what I mean? You know, it's just weird. Am I selfish? Again, I guess reasonable questions. And this movies thing is like, did you just watch Fight Club? Is that what you did?
Right.
And you paused right after fucking Brad Pitt beat up that guy's face, Jared Leto's face or whatever. And you're just like, yeah, you know, I just wanted the world to be too pretty. Anyway, so the person continues. I'm only in it for the money and kind of hate every minute at work.
Welcome to the club, pal. Yeah.
Okay. Every moment I spend there, I feel like wasting the only life I have.
This guy's definitely in his 20s.
Like, gotta be.
Like, Okay.
Yeah. Maybe new to the workforce, which like, again, no shade. Like you get into it and you're like, is this it? You know? And it's like, okay. The odds of being alive are so exuberantly small. And then they give math that I'm straight up not going to say out loud because I don't even know how to read it. It's like 1 in 10 to the 2 millionth power, a 10 with 27 million oh, and then he's summarizing. He said, 10 with 27 million zeros. And I agree with you. The odds of existence are very small.
But shut up. But shut up.
They're going that big. Yeah. If you go that big on the universe, you're already dead in the water. Especially when it comes to selling cell phones.
Yeah, and it's also that stat means absolutely nothing because you are here. Like it's already over. If you clock into work and you're like, the odds of me making it into work without an accident happening are it's like, well, it doesn't fucking matter.
Don't C-3PO this fucking thing.
It's just like that's a moot point. That doesn't matter to anything. That stat matters to people who will never exist, that you will never meet.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry.
Yeah,
that's
the unborn.
Thing. Yeah, that's a dumb thing to hang your hat on. It didn't happen to you or anyone you've ever met.
Yes.
It's a 0% chance that happened to anyone you've ever met.
Ever. They've all been born. And I understand what you mean, like like you versus me or whatever. And I understand your point is like that life is a miracle. And like as a person who's a new parent, like I absolutely agree with you. Life is a fully formed miracle. It's fucking insane. However, also sometimes you have to get out of bed and scratch your balls.
Sometimes you got to scratch your balls.
You just exist now. So it's like, it's the same thing of like, I've dealt with this too, like the nihilism, like, oh, life has no meaning. It's like, well, that's not true. You just assign meaning to your life. Like you make the meaning.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, my colleagues to me, this person continues, my colleagues to me look like aliens or robots from the future who, by some miracle, aren't agonized by sitting 9 hours in front of a screen doing intense work. There's one flaw to this complaint here. My neck hurts, my back hurts, my brain hurts, and I cannot relate to anything my colleagues do at work as well as privately. And actually, like, okay, number one, you don't have to have an office job, just FYI. Like there's other jobs that aren't just office jobs, just FYI. They exist.
Yeah.
But like also, again, join the fucking club. Like, I'm not trying to say like your pain is not valid at all. I'm just trying to say that like you are not alone in that pain. Like I have workplaces where I felt fucking feral. Is it feral? Feral. Feral. Wild. Like I show up and I feel like a fucking cat.
Mangy.
Like I feel like a cat that they dragged off the street and they're like, whoa, we're having staff lunch. And you're like, oh God, how the fuck did I get here? But like, but then you also live in reality. You're like, well, I guess I'll have these like mediocre tacos. Anyway, so the question will always be, again, too much of a philosophy degree on this. And I know that people are smarter than us, and I'm very sorry. What do I actually like? What would I do instead? Very true. Except for charitable work, I think I mostly come up with artistic ideas that wouldn't benefit anyone, really. And let me just put a pin on the ding, ding, ding there, pal. Music, there's plenty of it out there, and mine's only a little better than average at best. And I feel like now we're starting to circle the drain here.
Okay, yeah.
Like this person actually has a thing they want to be doing. Writing, well, again, I don't know if these are the things, but writing, there's plenty of it out there, and mine's, oh, sorry, that was music. Writing there's enough to read out there for 1,000 lifetimes. You ever seen The Neverending Story?
I fucking hate this guy.
You ever seen The Neverending Story? You know what I'm talking about?
He's all pulling his horse through the mud and
that sad part. But I feel like this person is alternating between the voice of the wolf at the end, who's like the Fantasia has no boundaries, that weird wolf puppet, and the lady that he meets at the very end, who's got that little tiny pearl. She's like, Bastion, say my name. And then he yells something and nobody knows what he says. Like literally, what the fuck does she say?
Yeah, he's just like,
Linda. But you know what I mean? Like, it's like, there's enough to read out there for 1,000 lives. Like their voice is breaking on top of shards of glass. And let me just say, I agree with you on some of these points, like that life is so unfathomably beautiful, right? But also sometimes you have to eat tacos for lunch. Anyways, photography. One thing I didn't mention is once I do something for money, especially art, like I already did with photography, okay, interesting point here, I start resenting the endeavor. Woo, buddy. Again, this is an experience that is shared by many others. You are in no way alone. Anyway, so we're just gonna like that section. I think is gonna hold a lot of promise before we get to the end here. I suppose it is because of my upbringing or lack thereof. Again, or this sounds like a Victorian boy sort of standing on the tree stump, shouting as the other school kids go by. I suppose it's because of my upbringing or lack thereof. But sadly, it looks like I'm extremely hard to please. Okay, you can't put me in a box, a cubicle, and you can't make me. And you can't make me make stuff / art for money. What the heck do I actually want then? I don't know. That's the conundrum. This is exactly why I often ask myself, am I just selfish? Am I spoiled? Do I need to recalibrate my brain and reprogram my synapses? And I'm going to quickly say yes to that question. And I'll tell you how later. I honestly don't even know why I'm writing all this. Maybe to get some insight, to find people who found their personal answers to all these questions. Even if I'd be happy with making good money by creating art, I already did it intensely for a few years in a row, but burned out hard. Okay, so the picture's changing here. Once I start projects, I tend to overwork myself and get my next personal record in burnout intensity. I had 2 to 3 burnouts and had to work on myself for about a year now to recover from the last one, and I'm not quite there yet. And let me tell you, I agree with you, you're not quite there yet. As far as working on yourself.
I would love to see what burnout is for this guy. What does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, this person is burned out, is the thing. This person is still burned out. So what is it? Selfishness, childishness, too dreamy? Am I lazy? I don't know what you think about all of this, but I'm seriously lost. Okay, I'm trying to make sure I did read that sentence correctly. I don't know what you think about all of this, but I'm seriously lost. And here's the kicker, Nick. I'm 38.
Oh my God.
Worked for 20 years now, and I feel so inadequate. I'd appreciate every ounce of input.
Okay.
And that's the question.
Well, I'm a few years younger than you, and I don't respect you. So
Okay. I'm going to give you a painfully sincere answer before we go back into what the fuck are you talking about. You need to go to therapy, dude, because you talk about, do I need to recalibrate my brain, my synapses? Yes. And I'm not saying that therapy recalibrates those things, but like, I made one of my therapists cry one time because I kept describing to him, and this is not like a sad thing, you know, it was like, I kept like because I was in a tough spot and I kept telling him like, I just don't understand the world because like, I think the world is beautiful and it's like, and I live such a fucking fucked up life, you know, and in my mind, I lived a fucked up life. Like I wasn't doing fucking heroin, like, sorry, you know, but if you are that you're forgiven, like, I don't want to stigmatize you or whatever. If you're doing heroin right now, like you're cool. Anyway,
we appreciate you listening to the pod. If you're doing heroin right now,
if you're doing it right now, like what an interesting vibe to choose. But you know, like I was just like, I think I remember saying something like, I think he summarized it for me. He's like, you're talking about why it's so troubling to you that you believe the world is poetry and yet it functions in prose, right? Like the world is this amazing gift and yet there's this like massive like practicality bullshit to it, right? And he was like, after he like quit crying, he's like, I feel that too. And he's like, but like, that's it. You're done. You know? Like, I'm not saying you're done with therapy, or, you know, but like that, your revelation will probably not grow in any size greater than that, other than your ability to accept those two realities. Right.
Right.
Like, and we can talk about capitalism all fucking day. And we can talk about like the terrible systems that are in place because there are many of them that keep us in the situations we're in. But like the bottom line is there is like this like massive giant beauty to the world. And also you have to live there's like the systemic solution and there's the individual solution, right? And you're a person. You're not the system. You're not the universe. You are still trapped in this meat body, you know, in the like 10 zeros or whatever fucking math you were talking about, you know, and like you said, you're still you. So you're gonna have to do something about that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think this person needs therapy. I also think this person's kind of full of shit. Like, I think that this is the type of guy that he strikes me that he likes to act like he's genuinely asking these questions, but he thinks he already has the answers.
Yeah.
You don't just say shit like, oh, like, like these dumb fucking high school I'm hitting on my English like the other girl in my English class sentences of like
what's the fucking point, man? You know,
or just like, oh, there's enough books already out there to read for 1,000 lifetimes. Fuck you. How many you read? Get out of here. Like,
but also but just also here's a haiku I just wrote about how many
right.
books there are.
It's like,
yeah.
Okay. Yes. Life is pay to play, unfortunately. Right.
Yeah. And it sucks.
And that sucks or whatever. But if you think that you've already found the end of the road of art and you're like, oh, I burn out because I work too hard.
Yeah.
Get in line. Get out of here with that. So you think, okay, yeah. So what's with every other artist who gets it done?
Well,
they
it's also like
not working as hard as you.
Well, and it's also it's crazy to me because it's like you've already been quote unquote successful enough. Well, it appears that you said good in parentheses money with making good money by creating art. I already did it intensely for a few years in a row, but burned out hard. It seems to me like you could just make. Like, look, and don't get me wrong, I'm on this fucking journey too, right? Of like, we are creative beings, and like sometimes the world doesn't want to compensate us for those things. And a lot of times the work outweighs the compensation, even if there is compensation, right? But part of it also like is figuring out your boundaries. Again, talking about fucking therapy is just like being like, oh, well, I was able to make it successful before. I bet you I could do it again, but just like, you know, try harder to not make it eat me alive, you know? And, but it also might be, again, part of the therapy journey is realizing like, oh, maybe I'm not strong enough, or I don't have enough tools to like literally draw that distinction between like my work and myself, you know? And that's a fucking, again, welcome to the fucking club. That's why I say go to therapy, because they're going to tell you you're not alone in every single one of these categories. But the problem is, as you're identifying, Nick, you seem already resolved on all of this. Like
there's a very solipsistic kind of mindset this guy has, where it's just like he's weighing all of the possible answers of his questions on things that he thinks are the answers. Like it's like this motherfucker tortures himself over buying you a gift on your birthday, when it's like, well, it does nothing to do with you. You just do the thing. You get them the gift he likes.
Absolutely.
And that's the role you play. You know what I mean? It's like people that like find ways to be selfish. When like they just he's inserting his own.
No, for sure. No, I mean, again, like speaking of the same period of time in my life, shame and blame are literally selfish, right? They are, they're not misguided in the sense of like something wrong happened, right? Like, or you messed up, or maybe you didn't, maybe you're being too hard on yourself, but like the act of shame and blame is like, is you telling yourself a very specific story that you control and play a part in, right? If it's all on you, it's all on you. And it's like, maybe sometimes it's only halfway on you. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, well, but my 50%, yes, that I was responsible for was bad. And it's like, okay, but again, shame and blame are self-isolating forces, right? Because the voice behind those two things is just like me, I did, bad, right? Versus the idea of like, oh, I may be flawed, I may be doing these things, but I still have the right to like try.
I just don't know. Like if this person was, I feel like you're granting the credence that maybe they're
way too
very
much credence.
Genuine in these things. If they are genuine, then that's like a different set of answers. And there's like a lot of self you need to explore. And also you need to lighten up on yourself a little bit. But I don't know. I'm not as charitable I don't know that I believe you. Like, I don't know that I don't know what burnout looks like. I don't know. Like I've met a lot of artists. We've been around a lot of artists for a lot of years who push themselves to the brink. And I don't know very many of them that burnt out for a full year. I mean, like, I don't know. Maybe this is like fucking Scorsese we're talking to, and he just put this post up. I don't know what the fuck this is.
Well, it could also be, but this person,
I don't know that I buy it.
It could be this person was a wedding photographer, right? I'm just imagining a workable scenario where it's like, I like photography. because again, this person says in the photography section, it says, once I do something for money, especially art, like I already do photography, I start resenting the endeavor. And it's like, fucking shit, dude. It's always so much fucking work. The whole world is so much. You think I don't resent this podcast sometimes? I absolutely resent this podcast sometimes. But when I fucking hop on with old Nicky Boy and Chase, it's a good fucking time.
Hey.
That's like there's a center that it revolves around. You know what I mean? Like the fucking episode where I think it's not the one we did recently with the fucking, it was Zara's episode. That entire story blew me the fuck away.
Sure, yeah.
Like that exists. Like I would never have heard that if I hadn't been on this podcast,
Right.
And you would never have heard that as a listener if you weren't listening to this podcast. And was it 10 people that heard it, that it brought joy to? Was it one? Was it, but I don't know. But the bottom line is it started with me and I got a lot of fucking joy from it, So like, again, yeah, I agree that you're kind of the shitty kid at the back of the English class. And I truly don't think that if I were to give you any of these answers, you would hear a single word I'm fucking saying.
Yeah. I think you've already decided that you're hopeless or whatever, that you've already figured out that there's not a right way.
And the other thing that bugs me is the list. It's like music, writing, photography. It's like you can literally do any and all of those things.
I guarantee you're not the best at any of those things.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, okay, random suggestion, before I wrap up the pod, for like, again, people who are like legit, just like art, there's a book called The Artist's Way. A lot of people have heard of it and a lot of people like work through it. It's like basically like their workbook. And it's basically like, I'm pretty sure this lady just adapted a 12-step like addiction program out into like an art thing. And it's great because basically the bottom line of the entire book is like, you have the right to make bad art in order to make what you call good art, which do you have the right to make money from it? Those are all variables, right? But if you just want to like do stuff, like you can do stuff and you'll always come on the other side of it knowing, speaking of fucking math, 10 with 27 million zeros more things that you knew about yourself and about all kinds of shit before. So do it if you want. Literally no one is stopping you at all. Good luck to you. I bet your tree's going to burn down and I'm sorry. Ta-da! That's
the pod.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
We love you.
We love you. Hope you're doing great. And we'll see you next week. Fuck this place.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for listening. If you had a good time, don't forget to subscribe, rate the podcast, leave a review, 5 stars, 4 stars. You can give less stars, but don't do that. I mean, you can, but just text us. It's 470-223-5627. That's 470-223-5627. You can just let it out, Get mean. We're here for you. Okay, that's it. Bye for now. Fuck this place.